Hi there, happy Friday. So it's been a long week. I'm actually shopping for my forever home. So I've been super busy. I'm actually multitasking. I'm at work, but taking a break. Well, on a break. So anyway, this week's topic is going to be, wait, my cat is getting on my nerves. Okay. So this week's topic is going to be when people fall out over money, right? And then, like the title says, is money really the root of all evil? Not exactly. Money doesn't create character, but it does reveal it. So money has a way of putting people in uncomfortable positions, right? And this is on both sides: the people that are lending it out and the people that are receiving it. So sometimes you're the one that's helping. Sometimes you're the one that's needing help, right? And then when you're on the receiving end of the loan, it's just as important to step up into the shoes of the person that has actually loaned you the money, right? They're trusting you, so that trust comes with responsibility. So because clarity protects both people, and then sometimes the lines get blurred, this doesn't help the situation at all. So today we're going to talk about how to handle loans in relationships with honesty, also communication, as well as respect. And this goes for no matter which side you're on, the person that's doing the helping out or the person that's needing the help. So, first off, and I mentioned this in a lot of my videos, clarity, right? So that's number one: clarity before currency. So if you cannot say it out loud, then you do not need to hand over any money, right? So before any money moves, words must move first, right? So you need to determine how much, right? Is this a loan or is it a gift? When is the repayment expected? If it's, expected, those are always nice because there's nothing that, what, hey, you can have it. I don't want the, unnecessary drama or whatever's attached to it, if you can afford to do that. And then lastly, how will it be repaid? Are you doing a bartering system where you're going to do something for me, or you're going to pay me back what I gave you? Is it going to be paid back with interest, whatever the situation may be? So if those expectations live only in your head, resentment will live in your heart, right? So keep this in mind: no clarity, no cash, right? So that's number one: clarity before currency. Number two, make sure that you have an agreement without assumptions, right? So when it comes to money and love, whatever love that you have, that doesn't cancel out being logistical, right? So family and friendship often rely on assumptions, right? You have this assumed goodwill that, this person is going to do what they need to do, I hope, but that's where things crack, right? So a verbal agreement, that's good, right? This still counts as an agreement. And then text messages, that's good as well. It's not too formal. They're productive because you have some evidence, right? And then assumptions are not promises, right? So unspoken terms, they make you generous. They also make you vulnerable. Well, they don't make you generous. They make you vulnerable. So assumptions do not pay you back. They do not pay your bills, right? So keep that in mind. An agreement, you need to achieve that without assumptions. Don't assume anything. Number three, boundaries over guilt, right? So what do I mean by that? So your compassion should never bankrupt your peace. All right, let me say that again. Your compassion should never bankrupt your peace. All right, so people often lend money out of guilt. Even if you don't really have it, you're like, okay, well, they saw that I did this generous gesture for whomever 5 months ago. Or it could be out of gesture, right? Or out of the fear of just saying no altogether. But boundaries aren't unloving, right? They're stabilizing. You need boundaries, right? So don't lend what you can't afford to lose. So always keep in mind when you are lending money out, you may never get it back. So don't give more than you can absolutely afford, because there's always the possibility that you won't get it back. Let's say the person that you lent the money to, they really were going to pay you back, but let's say they passed away, anything. So don't lend money that you can't afford to lose. Don't rescue any patterns, right? And say, well, they normally do this. No, this is a new situation, right? Don't confuse help with self-sacrifice, right? So you're allowed to protect yourself and also care about others at the same time, right? But boundaries keep your kindness from turning bitter. You need boundaries. All right. And then lastly, number 4, consequences and closure. So keep in mind, if it's time to pay back and you haven't heard from said person, you've reached out, silence is an answer, right? Silence is an answer. Now, sometimes, like I said, people are really hurt, they're in a bad situation, whatever, but silence is an answer. So if repayment doesn't happen, right, communication matters more than the money, right? So avoidance will damage trust faster than any debt ever will, right? And then also closure means that you're releasing the money, not the relationship. So, well, I should say that, let me say that again. So closure means that you're releasing the money or the relationship, right? So this is where people learn the hardest lesson, right? So sometimes the cost wasn't the loan, it was the insight that you got from that whole exchange, right? So when accountability disappears, clarity does show up. It arrives, right? So a thing to take away is, if they avoid the conversation, they've made a choice, right? And you don't lose people over money. You lose them over how it's handled. And think about this in both ways. So I've seen a lot of people that were close fall out over money, right? So just keep this in mind whenever you're loaning money. If you're the person that's receiving money, be sensitive, communicate with people. It's the decent thing to do. And then also, speaking of money, a segue, regarding the gratitude giveaway, I'm going to change how I'm going to do them, because I feel like, I don't know, I always pick like, not topics, but like, comments, I should say, to the responses or experiences that are like, that, resonate with me, right? And all of them do, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a twist on how I do them now. So now everyone that has chimed into each video, they have left like a, substantive topic, or they get a substantive comment, I should say, or they have given an experience, whatever the situation may be, for each video. Then on the video before I do the gratitude giveaway video, I'm going to have you guys list a number. I'll give you the number. And then when I do the gratitude giveaway, I'm going to pick that number. So it'll sort of be randomized, because I'm having a hard time making choices. Because it's, like I said, I feel like I sort of pick, similar, I don't know. I just want to be fair. So anyway, I'm going to do a whole community post on how the gratitude giveaways are going to be done from now on. And then the next one will actually be on Friday, January 30th. Because we did the December gratitude giveaway sort of late for Christmas. It was like December 19th or 20th or something like that. Yeah, so the 30th of January, I will do the gratitude giveaway. And then I'll do a whole breakdown in the community post, so you know how the winners will be, how they'll win their prize. So the budget is still the same right now. It's still $80. But then that's another thing I'll decide. if it's going to be, one person will win once I print that, once I pull that prize. Is it going to be, two people, whatever the situation may be. So I'll give a breakdown in the community post to give all of that information. So otherwise, I hope you guys have a great rest of your Friday and a great rest of your weekend. Take care and be well.